What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here. And just before we get into the 2022 NFL Draft festivities, I thought it'd be fun to go back to my way too early 2022 mock draft back in last May and check out and see, what the differences were between then and now. We're going to go through and I'm going to react to all of the picks, and I'll try to pick out some of the best highlights for you guys. But it's cool to show what the journey looks like through a draft process, and why early takes are often silly a little bit, and early mock drafts are often silly as well. And mocks are part of the process. It's part of the fun. It's NFL draft fan fiction. That's what it is. So we're gonna go back, like I said, go through all these picks, see if we got anything right, and probably roast my past self for getting a lot of things wrong. So without further ado, let's get in there and check this out. As we get started here,
All right, this should be good.
with this mock draft, just want to shout out NFL Mock Draft Database. I think it's a really clean database. Holds all the consensus mock drafts from the class, consensus big boards, team mocks. You can do redrafts, so this site is really, really cool. And two things before we start. Obviously, don't overreact to your pick. It's way too early for that. And two, this isn't necessarily how I would rank the class. For sure. My big board will come out very soon, and you'll get to see that, but this isn't necessarily how I'd rank them. Also, the order just came from a Vegas odds. So, and this is the order that was set. So, if your team's too high, I get it. I'm sorry. Okay?
The Bengals
let's focus on the mock. So, we're going to start, obviously, Houston Texans on the clock here at number 1. Going to go Spencer Rattler. I know they just selected Davis Mills. I know Deshaun Watson's still in house, but listen, the Deshaun Watson ordeal is serious. We have no idea how it's going to turn out. It's a good chance he gets shipped out of there no matter what. And Davis Mills, I just don't see the upside as a passer necessarily. I think he should have stayed in school, really. And I was just surprised by that pick. So Spencer Rattler, a lot of tools. Potentially the favorite here of all the quarterbacks to be the top selected in the 2022 NFL Draft. Obviously, we're way away from that, but still, I think his tools, his accuracy, his loose arm, he's just got a lot of that. And so just to put together a consistent season, I think will elevate him to that number 1 spot for the Texans, who
didn't do that.
Might need a franchise passer very, very soon. And Detroit Lions here at 2. Going to go Sam Howell for them. Obviously, I know Jared Goff's there. I get it. He's got a lot of years left. But this team passed on a young quarterback in Justin Fields in this past draft. I think this is the time now. They built the trenches nicely in 2020. Honestly, one of my favorite drafts, truthfully. And now, time to get a quarterback to be the successor. Sam Howell. Great deep ball. A lot of intangibles. He's got a Baker Mayfield-esque look to him. And you'll see that on tape for sure. So Howell, again, comes in, gets to sit for a little bit behind Goff.
Baker Mayfield-esque intangibles. Definitely a better thing to say 11 months ago.
And eventually become the starter. Number 3, Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going Kayvon Thibodeau here for them. I just don't know. Outside of Trey Hendrickson, who I really think has a lot of schemed and cleanup production in terms of his sack totals recently, I just don't know if he's the true difference maker to be that elite pass rusher. I think Kayvon Thibodeau can be that. He's going to be talked about a ton over the next 11 months, so be ready for that. Very toolsy, quick first step, excellent athlete, can retread his route to the quarterback. He's got great change of direction skills. He'll run you down from behind. The effort is there. The motor is there. He's an exciting player. Can't wait to see him in action again in 2021. Number 4, New York Jets. They've done a lot of great things in this past draft here. We're going to get them an elite corner here. Derek Stingley Jr. Now, not necessarily the top corner yet in this draft class. Obviously, we've got a long way to go, but still, I think Derek Stingley, his freshman season was outstanding. His ability to locate, turn, and find the ball late in the route was excellent. He's got the ball production. He's got the ability in man coverage, loose hips, transitions well. I think he's got that mentality as well to be an alpha lockdown corner. Jaguars at 5. Trevor Lawrence, you have the savior in town at quarterback. Now, I think you have to protect him. I know this is going to be a crazy thing. Obviously, Cam Robinson, they brought back for another year. Evan Neal, 6'7", 360, huge tackle. I think is great in pass protection. A little bit iffy in the run game in terms of a mauler and how he attacks that, but I think in pass protection he's solid, and he would bring much needed help to the blind side protecting Trevor Lawrence.
Holy cow, that was a thing for a while. That's not bad. I mean, he was always a top prospect, but to get that match is pretty solid, especially because they're picking 5th here.
Number 6, Philadelphia Eagles. The secondary is poor. It is. And
they do
Kyle
nothing about
Hamilton would change that. Kyle Hamilton has a chance to be a game changer at safety. His closing speed, his instincts, how he finds the ball, what he can do near the box, what he can do deep, and just watch him. I promise. 6'4", 218, big guy, supremely athletic, and just not a lot of holes in his game, truthfully. So he's going to be an excellent player. Raiders at 7. I think DeMarvin Leal makes a lot of sense here, and I'll tell you why. I think Leal had a really good game against Evan Neal. If you go watch that back, I think he's got the hands, he's got the motor, and he's got that true defensive end type of aesthetic I think that the Raiders would like to see. So getting a guy like Leal in there, really Cleveland Ferrell hasn't been doing it for you. Get a guy opposite Max Crosby, who has also, past that rookie season, hasn't done a whole lot. I would like to see more production there. Leal can do that.
That's so funny because if the Raiders had a first-round pick, I feel like that would be so them now. So
this might be the first shocker here. New York Giants. I'm going to go Carson Strong. I think he becomes the riser in this class. He's got that tall, skinny aesthetic of Trevor Lawrence. He's got a fantastic arm, flashes that ability downfield. He's going to be able to fit things into tight windows with that arm strength. Still a little bit to go in terms of, processing skills and whatnot, but I expect a big season at Nevada for him, and I think the Giants, we'll see. Daniel Jones, is he it or not? We'll definitely find out this season. They've added Tony. They've added Galladay. This is the year we're going to find out. Carolina Panthers at 9. Charles Cross, size, athleticism, really underrated tackle from Mississippi State. I think you saw them go after Brady Christensen, who might not be a tackle necessarily at the next level. And I just feel like outside of that, they didn't really address the outside. So this is a team that next year could be all in at quarterback, but I think they're hoping Darnold takes a step, and we're going to assume that here. And top 3 quarterbacks, in my opinion, are off the board. We're going to go Charles Cross. Atlanta Falcons. Drake Jackson.
Oh, boy.
Undersized a little bit. He dropped some weight to get down to 255 pounds this past season, but I think he's got a lot of tools. Good first step, great hands, a good spin move. He's got the counters there to be an effective pass rusher, and he's not just a speed rusher like Falcons are used to selecting in the first round. Promise he brings more than that. I think he'd be a very good selection there. The next Giants pick is from Chicago, thanks to the Justin Fields trade. And here, Giants are going to go get themselves a linebacker in Christian Harris, who I think can really take the next step at Bama this season. Again, just a guy I think who is following in the footsteps of guys like Mosley. And I know Reuben Foster didn't work out, but he was a darn good player. Again, a guy's got instincts and range and speed, just a combo, and he's a hard hitter. And they're missing that in this defense, and I think Harris can be that for them. Very exciting.
So the Harris thing is interesting. I mean, the Giants do need linebacker. I mean, what's to say? Put a linebacker that high. I mean, everybody was putting him that high. So I just followed the group thing with that one for sure, by the way. So
Arizona Cardinals. I think they got to go corner here, truthfully, despite what they've thrown at their secondary in recent years. Kyer Elam, 6'2", 196, fluid in man coverage. He's got that height, weight, speed going for him. Hard to imagine he's not a top 15 player by next year. I truthfully believe that he is going to be a fantastic player, and Cardinals need it in a division that's getting harder and harder to compete with, for sure, with Lance and Wilson and now Stafford in their division.
Calling him a top 15 player at this point is not crazy. There's some people who have him at cornerback too, respectfully. I mean, that's maybe a little high, but still, I mean, in this class right now, he can easily be a top 15 player, so not too bad there.
They need some help there, for sure. Washington football team that just really doesn't have a lot of holes on it. And when you look at it, they're really missing QB. That's what they're missing, is quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taylor Heineke, I don't think they're long-term solutions. We're going to go Keaton Slovis here.
Oh.
This might be a little more shocking. Didn't have a great 2020 season. Rumors of a shoulder injury. I think you see him flash the ball placement and the accuracy from 19 especially. And his ability to maneuver around the pocket and make plays outside the pocket is something that Washington does kind of have in Heineke, but I think Slovis is a better reader of the field, and he will flash that accuracy at every level. Much better than a guy like Heineke will. I think the Washington football team makes this move here with Slovis. Finally.
Okay, that's my first major L. I mean, DeMarvin Leal is a pretty big L, but like he was still in first round talk a couple months ago. Slovis, it went away fast. So that's an L for me there for sure.
To get their team on the right track for a franchise quarterback. Minnesota Vikings. I do like George Karlaftis here. I know corner is staring them in the face still with Jeff Gladney's situation going on, which is not good at all. But I think Karlaftis, 7.5 sacks in 19, obviously didn't get quite going in 2020, but I expect him to bounce back. Another guy with heavy hands, physical pass rusher, who can do a lot on that defensive line.
It's not bad.
Pittsburgh Steelers at 15. Rasheed Walker.
Oh, this is bad.
Guy who I think should be getting more buzz. I know we're so early, but still. Just a guy with good prototypical size, good hands, high football IQ, went back to school. Do we really think Chuks Okorafor and Zach Banner are the solutions to tackle?
No.
Neither of them are signed beyond 2022. I know they brought in Dan Moore in the draft. Still, I would like to have a top-tier player at the position. Rasheed Walker could be that for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another team that's obviously got quarterback situation to figure out in the future as well, but here we're going to go Walker. Maybe Big Ben's got 2 years left in him.
That is
Speaking
a no.
of quarterbacks, we're going to go here with one. For the Denver Broncos, we're going to go Malik Willis, a player who is gaining.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, Denver ended up trading for Russell Wilson, but I mean, before that happened, I feel like Malik Willis was mocked them a decent bit. That's not horrible.
Team already because of the arm talent, because of what he can do as a runner. We're going to hear a lot about him all season long at Liberty. Again, the loose arm, he's got the talent to sling it all over the yard, and he's going to make plays outside the pocket, and he's going to make defenders miss in space with his speed, agility as a runner. So, again, complete package, just needs more refinement. Denver, it's hard to peg them for anything really outside of quarterback. Drew Lock, we're just not sure about him at this point. And that's where we go. Chargers at 17. This just feels like something we're going to plug in just because it makes a lot of sense. Jalen Weidermeyer at the tight end from Texas A&M.
That's an
They've
L.
got a lot of prospects this year, folks. They got a lot of top-tier prospects. Consensus tight end 1 right now. Truthfully, a guy who comes in and replaces Hunter Henry as the big physical guy, you're going to go win in contested spots. He's going to give enough effort as a blocker.
No,
you're going to see him this year make a lot of plays, and he's an exciting playmaker in an offense that continues to and should build around Justin Herbert. Boy, it's really hard to not go corner here for the Patriots, but I'm going to go with the first receiver.
Finally.
And this is something to watch because I think the last 2 classes have spoiled us at receiver. Chris Olave potentially could be the wide receiver 1 in this class. Last year, if he came out, I think he's fighting with Elijah Moore for wide receiver 5.
100%.
But again, a guy who's a smooth route runner. He's a vertical threat as well. Can win at all 3 levels. Good separator. Good hands. Just a well-rounded playmaker in a New England offense that's really still kind of lacking that wide receiver 1, and I think he can be that for that offense. Pretty good duo with Mac Jones potentially. So New Orleans Saints at 19 went through their roster, went through the
why are you
salary
hovering
cap
over
table
running
on
back?
them. We're going receiver.
Oh my god,
Garrett Wilson, great athlete, good explosiveness.
Oh, we've got a potential pairing. Like I know that, like okay, potentially Atlanta at 8. Philly right before them, but like not impossible for this to happen. So
a little bit undersized, but a guy who can be a really, really good wide receiver too and has that potential. I'm not as bullish on him as others at this point in the process, but as a wide receiver 2 for an offense.
Pass Jake, this is your wide receiver 1. What are you doing?
Behind Michael Thomas sounds great for them. Yes, they have other holes. This felt like the most pressing one with a lot of players heading into free agency in 2022. This is now the second, I should say, of 3 Philadelphia first rounders. Again, potentially 3, maybe 2, depending on how much Wentz plays for the Colts, but I think it's going to be 3.
It was.
The first one here, one of them from Miami. Eagles are going to go with a corner here in Ahmad Gardner. Nickname Sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Man and zone versatility. Good.
Oh man, I gave myself a heart attack with 7 banks there. Jeez. Hey, we got Gardner in the top 20. That's not bad.
Close. He's got a great,
at least considering where he was down that board. So
feel for when to transition downhill out of his zone. When you have that football IQ, the instincts, and the production at the catch point that he has, this is a first-round player and comes into a Philadelphia secondary that really needs him. Easy for them there. 21, Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go Jordan Battle, safety of Alabama, 6'1". He's just a thick player at the position, truthfully. Maybe a little bit of reach, but this is something they need in the secondary. They need more help there. Still not convinced they have a cornerback 1 in-house, but again, getting a safety like Battle who can do a lot of different things for you is a good pick for them. Jets are back on the clock from Seattle.
So Jordan Battle is going to be really good next year. We did go through that phase with like mocking safety over and over and over and over to Dallas. So that's funny. Jordan Battle, though, watch it for 2023.
In the Jamal Adams trade, we're going to go with Kenyan Green, another Texas A&M guy.
Okay. I mean,
this guy, again, may get the Elijah Vera Tucker treatment. He hasn't played tackle yet. He's played interior. He's probably a top 10 player for me right now because of how good he is in a phone booth, the way he can recover, mirrors his feet and hands. He can mirror rushers. He's quick to recover. He's got the lateral agility skills in the phone booth. He is outstanding. Maybe could play tackle. We'll see. But again, another way to build a wall
he did
in front of Zach Wilson at quarterback. Okay, Titans on the clock now. Justin Ross coming back from an injury. It should be interesting to watch him return. Size, speed, good hands, catch radius. Great pairing with A.J. Brown. This team still needs help at wide receiver too. They get a pretty darn good one here in Ross to really lengthen Ryan Tannehill's career down the stretch here for him. Again, Ross and Brown, pretty darn good 1-2 punch.
So, bullish on the Justin Ross comeback. I think a lot of people were. I'm still a believer because I think the football IQ and the ability to attack, leverage, and all that is really, really good. So, I know, obviously, this is an L, right, with Justin Ross. And we're counting the L's, don't worry. There's at least 6 already, probably 7. It's just unfortunate that Ross couldn't stay healthy.
Eagles are finally going to finish up here with their 3rd first-round pick. We're going to go quarterback. Desmond Ridder. I know
nice.
He has a lot of fans.
Nice.
Already. And again, outside the numbers, down the field, he's great. He needs to work on consistency over the middle of the field, getting the ball with touch over linebackers. That's the biggest thing for him, is consistency over the middle of the field. If he can develop that this season for the Bearcats, there's a chance he's in the first round. There's a lot of guys, truthfully, in this draft class right now, even at the top, when we talked about Howell and Rattler, that are mostly end of round 1, day 2 guys at this point as prospects. Someone's going to make that leap. Who's it going to be? We'll see, but I think
spoiler alert, those leapers were Kenny Pickett and I guess Malik Willis. But Willis did go 16th here, so.
Again, for Philly, when you have 3 first-round picks, one of these is probably going to be quarterback to potentially compete with or take the...
Why am I telling you guys that? You know that. And my past self can't hear it. Whatever.
Job from Jalen Hurts. Cleveland Browns. We're going to go with Myjai Sanders here.
Okay, that's
I think a lot of people liked.
It's still an L, but...
Even later in the process last year, decided to return. Another guy who's more of a power rusher than a speed rusher, but again, good array of counter moves. And for a team that's lacking something opposite Garrett, I know Clowney and Tack McKinley are in-house, but still, I think you get a guy who consistently get into the backfield like Sanders can. Maybe not in the same way Garrett does, but again, very effective doing so. And I think Cleveland will be very happy with that selection. Green
still feel like he's underrated. Again, the weight fluctuation is a thing, but like still feel like he's underrated. I mean, that's an L. I mean, he's not going to be in the first round, but like still an intriguing pass rusher. I stayed with this position for Green Bay because of the Smith brothers potentially out. Please tell me I picked Hutchinson and not Zach Harrison. Please tell me you didn't pick Zach.
Green Bay Packers, for somebody who runs a very Packers-centric channel at this point,
oh no,
it was hard to peg them for this, truthfully. I really didn't know what direction to go.
Receiver.
And I decided on edge.
No.
Going Zach Harrison. Still a lot to prove before he's a real, true, locked-in first-rounder, but there's a lot of tools to work with, and the Green Bay Packers love tools on the edge. Like 6'6", 265, I believe.
Or just pick Hutchinson, dummy.
You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but Zach Harrison and Rashawn Gary sounds really good in the future here for the Packers.
No, it does not.
Especially if Harrison can hit his ceiling. And I know the Smith brothers are in-house. I just imagine 2022 offseason with the cap issues, it's going to be a lot of teardown. So I think starting with pass rusher, and again, the Packers go premium position in the first. That's something they always do. Harrison fits the premium position there. Miami Dolphins. This is actually not their pick, believe it or not. This is from San Francisco in the trade up for Trey Lance. So
which now belongs to the Chiefs.
They moved their original one to Philly. We're going to go Tyler Linderbaum here.
All right.
Maybe a little early for a center. I get it.
Look at this. So Linderbaum obviously potentially not going in the first, right? He goes 27th here. I'd say that's actually a big W. Like, waiting on a player like Linderbaum, he was still really good, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about him being really good, but, like, that's a pretty big W, just saying.
But this is right now one of the bigger needs for the Dolphins.
Still is.
There are not a lot of holes on this roster. I think this roster is really set to compete in the AFC. Get a guy like Linderbaum in there who's got a lot of tools. He's very physical, high motor. Work on his technique at this year, but I think at Iowa he's going to be fine with technique eventually as he continues to develop his game. Sounds like a perfect team need and selection there. So like that one a lot. Baltimore Ravens at 28. Had them thinking corner here, but they're just so loaded there that they really don't need to go in that direction. We're going to go Jordan Davis, a guy I think could have been, potentially, defensive lineman 1 in this past class. Because I think he's that good. I think he's strong at the point of attack. And I mean strong, like grown man strong. Can take on the double teams, can split them. It's just a very, very excellent player on the defensive line. A position that, again, is going to be probably a little bit weaker again this year. So for the Ravens, who have Calais Campbell and a couple others, free agents in the next couple seasons, time to beef up this D-line again. Jordan Davis be a perfect fit there.
Okay, well, that's a potential pairing as well. I mean, now there's late rumors with Baltimore trying to move up, maybe for Thibodeau. We'll see. But that's pretty good. That's being mocked a lot down the stretch, so that's a big W.
Buffalo Bills at 29.
Joe or Banks.
How are we not excited? Andrew Booth Jr. If you guys haven't seen this guy play yet, you will. This dude has insane in-air athleticism, tracks the football well like a receiver, makes plays on the football like a receiver. It is insane what he can do. And one-handed catches, just he looks like he's floating sometimes when he's in the air to make plays at the catch point. It is impressive. If he can develop a little short area quickness, a little more football IQ, he's going to be the full package at corner. He's very exciting already. Can't wait to see what he...
Excellent. Another potential pairing in round 1. We'll see.
He does this year with Clemson. Detroit Lions are back in the clock at 30 from the Rams. Oh, gosh. So, what do we think here? For them, gotta go wide receiver. The room is bare, and I mean it is bare. Like, you talk about a really just completely bare room at receiver. A lot of people think that Amon-Ra St. Brown can be a starter. Like Brashad Perriman, the room is weak. George Pickens, deep threat, has some effort issues.
Oh, wow. Finished with effort issues. Well, there you go. I mean, not impossible, but may not even be a win because he might fall out of the first. We'll see. But it's funny. The Lions are picking 30 there. I mean, they're 32. I mean, it's possible.
He's very hot and cold when you look at him when he's not getting the ball versus when he is. But again, he flashes the catch radius. He makes spectacular catches downfield. For Sam Howell, who we drafted earlier for the Lions, a deep ball threat for a deep ball thrower. Pretty darn good match, if you ask me. So, Lions, after building in the trenches, like we said, get their guy at quarterback, get their guy at receiver. It's time to start and really build this thing up to being a contender.
Wait a minute. Okay, so Buccaneers and Chiefs are left. Like, there's no way, right? So Burks has to be going to one of these teams. It's just a question of whether I thought Godwin would leave or just Chiefs for fun. But I do think, maybe it's Mechie, though. Maybe it's Mechie. Crap.
Buccaneers at 31, another team that just really didn't have a lot of holes.
No,
I thought about
this
Davis for them with Sue. His deal could be voided after this year. But I saw Carlton Davis, free agent, after this year. Saw, others potentially free agents after 2022. Cited Josh Jobe. Let's go that direction for Tampa Bay.
No.
Again, a team that just really doesn't have a lot of holes, truthfully. And they continue to be able to build with a type of best player available approach. Josh Jobe, I think he's patient when you look at his technique at corner. And I think it's only going to get better under Nick Saban, guy who could sneak in the first round and be a productive player on the outside. And Tampa Bay gets one there. Chiefs finishing up.
That's got to be the biggest L, right? I mean, there's some bad ones in here. Zach Harrison, Keaton Slovis. There's some bad ones. That might be the worst one.
Gotta go spicy when the Chiefs are on the clock.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Gotta go spicy here.
Yeah,
we're going Treylon Burks, a guy who I think can push for wide receiver 1. Size, speed, run after catch ability. He's going to eat up cushion quick. He makes the tough catches. He's used in a variety of ways, too. Especially for a guy that big with his speed, to be used as a gadget player as well is scary. And what offense could do that at a high level and really make him a productive player opposite Tyreek Hill? Wow, the Chiefs. Well, sounds pretty good to me. We're going Treylon Burks for the Chiefs. So real quick, we'll run through this thing one more time.
There's some definite wins here. There's some major L's. I mean, Neal and Cross, top 10. Hamilton, Stingley, Thibodeau, all good. The quarterbacks, way too many. But, I mean,
Rattler
not
to the Texans.
Well, there you have it. From the way too early mock draft. I mean, not horrible, all things considered. I mean, you potentially are going to get maybe even 5 or 6 pairings that could actually happen, which is crazy. Not too bad overall. I mean, Willison and Ritter are both in there. Corral's not in there. So that's Corral and Pickett are the misses at quarterback. Drake London's the big miss at receiver. I mean, Jamison Williams obviously comes out of nowhere. Ojabo would have, if not for the injury, would have been the out of nowhere. So there's always the out of nowhere guys that come into the first round is crazy. But like guys that missed, I mean, there's no Hutchinson in there. That's bad. There's no Kwanu in there. There's no Zion Johnson. There's no Jermaine Johnson. So there's a lot of guys in here that aren't in it. Like Hill and Seen could both be first-round picks. They're not in here. None of the top linebackers. Harris was the linebacker taken. There's like 5 others who could be ranked ahead of him. I mean, got Stingley, got Gardner, got Booth in there, and Elam. So that's a win with the corners, but Jobe is a major L. Tackle, I mean, again, Neal and Cross, if you asked me like 5 weeks ago, I feel like I would have said Neal and Cross were actually correct. But we'll see. This was interesting. And, there were obviously some clear misses, some bad misses, whether it be putting guys in there or leaving guys out. But it just shows you how cool like the process is and how much changes over time. But even still, if you can plan ahead a little bit and see like, what's there and where the top prospects are in this class. And so obviously this was a cool exercise. I enjoyed doing this. If you guys enjoyed this as like the kind of final video before everything gets hectic underway for the draft, just drop a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. If you made it this far, you're amazing. And you should come hang out draft show on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube and Friday at 6 p.m. Central as well. So with that said, enjoy the draft. It's going to be fun. If you're not hanging out with us, enjoy it anyway. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it, and there will be plenty more on this channel with reactions to that. So I will see you guys soon, whether it be live or on here with another video. So take it easy. Enjoy the draft. Farewell.